Hey guys, welcome to 5-Star Guns and Gear, and today we're going to talk about, the pistol brace ban. You know, it took effect on January 31st. Got to get in compliance by May 31st of this year to be in compliance. And figured we haven't really talked about any 2A issues on this channel. Why not talk about it? And I'll give you my thoughts, what my intentions are for the pistol brace ban. This is not telling anybody what you should do. You're going to have to make up your own mind. So what are your options? So the ATF says you can permanently remove your pistol brace stock and render it where it cannot be put back on. Then you're in compliance. So you have the choice of doing that. You could, add something longer than a 16-inch barrel and throw your regular stock on it. Then you've changed it to a rifle. Then you're in compliance. So that's another way. You can turn it over to your local ATF and give it to them. That's an option. You could destroy the firearm. Not smart in my opinion, but you can do it if you want to. Or you could fill out an E-Form 1, register it for a short barrel rifle, and you have that option as well. So, you know, are any of these options good? In my opinion, not really, because it infringes on our Second Amendment right. And, you know, there's several court lawsuits going on right now, and several states involved in those lawsuits. And I believe it'll be overturned. I really do. However, you never know. And right now they have the rule in effect, and it is what it is. We're in the amnesty period right now, and you have opportunity to do that if you want to comply. Or your other options, non-compliance. Probably not a smart thing, but you know, that's an option that if you choose to do it, that's your business. It's estimated between 10 to 40 million pistol braces are in existence. So, you know, it's put a huge burden on the American population of gun owners because there's a lot of these pistol braces out there. And, yes, it's unconstitutional. However, you know, it is what it is. And at this point, until it gets through the judicial system and we get a favorable ruling, you know, you just have to deal with it. So what should you do? Well, like I said, you're going to have to decide. That's totally up to you. Now, I plan to go ahead and SBR an AR. So, for some of us, maybe this works out for us. I don't mind paying the $200. However, I have this AR and this pistol in this configuration, and if I was going to SBR something and they're offering, you know, tax exemption status, why not save $200? I could actually use that money to go towards the suppressor I want to put on this for the tax stamp for that. So, you know, that's the way I'm looking at it. So my option is the E-Form 1, this particular, as a matter of fact, I've already started the process, and I'll go over that with you. Going ahead and E-Form 1 in this to change it to SBR. Should you do that? Again, that's up to you. You know, I was already planning on SBR and an AR, so, you know, this is what I'm going to do. I can tell you what I did, and I will tell you what I did, explain it to you. But if you decide or not to register and come into compliance, ultimately it's on you. It's your decision. I'm not here telling you what you should do, what you shouldn't do. I'm not going to get involved in that. You know, that's totally an individual's business, and you're going to have to do what you feel's right. Matter of fact, if you're wanting legal advice, I'm not an attorney. You need to go seek that advice from a licensed attorney. So this is just my experience, my reasoning for doing what I'm going to do. You do you. And at the end of the day, that's what you should do. Now, when I decided to do this, I went ahead and made a few decisions that I wanted it to go as smooth as possible. So you could paper form, E-form 1, everything in, go get your fingerprints done. Usually a local police department or sheriff's office will usually do your fingerprints. They may charge you. There's several places, I think some UPS stores, stuff like that, does fingerprints. You'll have to just check. There's a lot of places and businesses that actually make their money on doing background checks, fingerprints, stuff like that. So there's options for you to get all that done locally. However, I wanted to be a little more streamlined, and I want to take advantage of the ATF's E-form system. So to do that, you need to register with the ATF and on their E-form system. Once you get registered and everything, you have access to that, and you have access to utilize their forms. So anytime you want to do the SVR, anytime you want to do SOT, anything, suppressor, you have the ability to E-form it. So if you plan on going down that road, I recommend doing it electronically. One, I believe it's going to be a faster process for you, and it's going to take some of the time away rather than you filling out paperwork and sending it in that way. So again, you do you. When we're talking about this, what you're going to need to do is you're going to have to fill out some information on the E-form system. So this is just the basic information, sort of like you'd see on a 4473. So if you go in there, they're also going to want you to take a picture of the AR, and what they're looking for is the markings on it with your serial number, manufacturer's information. They need pretty much a close-up of your engravings. So so you're going to have to take a picture of that. You're going to need a passport photo. I'm trying to think everything you're going to need. You're going to need either a paper set of fingerprints where you go get your fingerprints done somewhere. And those cards can be ordered from the ATF website as well, and they'll send them to you. You can take those with you, make sure you have the right cards, and submit those in. After you do the E-form, you can mail those in. You can electronically submit them. It's called a ETF format for the electronic fingerprint portion of it. You can actually submit that with your E-form application, so that's something you can do. Your passport photo, you can go get one professionally done, or you can take it with your phone. Just make sure you do it on a neutral background, like a white background, kind of like shoulder up, and just basically, if you don't know what a passport photo should look like, go look it up online. If you can mimic that, you should be okay. Just make sure it's a good updated picture of you. And I recommend taking a fresh one and submitting that with your stuff. So if you're approved, once you send all this in, that's all you got to do. I mean, you get approved, they're going to send you approval notification. You're going to get basically a letter that's saying that you're approved, a document. You're not going to get a tax stamp because this is a tax exempt registration. So you're not going to get a tax stamp, but the documentation you get covers it because it covers under this Amnesty registration. So, and it's a tax exempt registration because of the pistol brace amnesty. So keep that in mind. So what can you do to even make it easier? And this is what I did. I chose to go with a service that Silencer Shop. I'm not affiliated with them. They're not paying me for this. They haven't asked me to endorse them, but I want to tell you what I did. You can go online and do that all yourself, or to make it streamlined and much easier, I decided, hey, let's give Silencer Shop a chance, and I'll tell you a couple reasons why I did it. One, I called around and wanted to get my fingerprints done electronic and submit those electronic, because it's going to be about 20 bucks to get the local law enforcement to do my fingerprints for me. So I started shopping around, trying to find how much it's going to be to get them done electronically. Anywhere from 120 to 180 bucks is what I was quoted, just to get my electronic fingerprints in ATF format. And there's a couple of them would not give you the format. They would only send it to like certain government agencies, and ATF wasn't on their list. The FBI was on their list. The ones that would give it to you in that format was that one place that I did find. They wanted $180 just to do your fingerprints. You know, if you're going to do several e-forms, I guess that's not bad. You have them, your fingerprints doesn't change. You're always going to be able to submit those fingerprints. So that's pretty good, I guess, if you look at it that way. But Silencer Shop has a e-form service that they provide. Pretty darn cool. And they provide your electronic fingerprints for you. You might ask, how does Silencer Shop do that? They're an online company. Well, Silencer Shop is set up with a ton of FFLs across the country. And in their shops, they send them kiosks, and these kiosks help you get everything you need to do your fingerprints and everything. So they charge 50 bucks for the service, and it's not just the fingerprints. So what you do, you go to silencershop.com, you tell them you want the e-form service. It's 50 bucks. You do your checkout. You still need to be registered with the ATF e-forms, because that is your login, and they will connect to that. You're actually going to connect their platform to it, and they're going to submit all this electronic documentation through that you've submitted online and through their kiosk, and auto-populate this for you, make it a little more streamlined, a little bit easier on you. So that's the route I went. Very, very cool. So what Silencer Shop will do, once you purchase that, it's going to ask you a series of questions, same thing that you're going to be asked if you're filling out the e-form. Basically, they're going to ask you for your pictures of your receiver. They're going to ask you for your passport photo. They're going to ask you for your serial number, your manufacturer's name, model of the firearm, if there's a model number on it. They're going to gather all that information from you. And then you're going to go, they're going to give you a QR code. You're going to go to one of their kiosks, and I found within 20 miles of me, I found 5 locations. I'm not in a huge town that actually sold silencers and these FFLs, and they was actually set up with Silencer Shop with their kiosks. So I have lots of options. And if you live in a large town, you may even have more options than that. And if you live in a small town, it's likely if you don't have one in your town, you have one close enough by. It's probably worth the drive for 50 bucks. So you go in the store, you don't even have to talk to anybody. I didn't even talk to anybody. I walked right up to the kiosk, scanned my QR code. Pretty darn cool, right? Pops up, walks you through, does your electronic fingerprint, scans everything. It tells you if your fingerprints are good, not good, and gives you multiple opportunities to go ahead and do all that. And once you complete all that, it saves it into Silencer Shop's system. Once that's done, you're permanently saved in Silencer Shop's system, so you don't have to do your fingerprints anymore anytime you do any services through Silencer Shop ever again. So that's pretty cool. Absolutely love that. So once you get that done, next thing it's going to do is it's going to say it's going to be sent in to, not the ATF, we're still on the Silencer Shop portion. It's going to send it to be reviewed by somebody at Silencer Shop. That's all they do, is like a compliance review to make sure you have everything, make sure everything looks good, make sure you fill out everything properly, everything looks good to them, and they're going to ask you to certify it. Once they ask you to certify it, you're going to log on to your e-form through a link they provide, and they've got a system that's going to pop up, and hopefully I can show some pictures on here and you can kind of see what I'm talking about. It will walk you through step by step, you know, what you need to do to log in. Once you log in, it's going to auto-populate everything. It's going to sort of take over your login, and it's going to auto-submit everything for that e-form 1 for you. Super, super cool. It's going to upload everything to the ATF, your electronic fingerprints, your passport photo, basically your entire application. Then it's going to ask you a couple of manual questions on the e-form that you are going to have to just reconfirm and go fill out. You'll fill that out. You're going to certify it, submit it. Once you're done there, you're going to get an email from the ATF like immediately that says it's submitted. They'll tell you if you need anything, like mine said you might need to send some ATF fingerprint cards in, but when you look at the bottom, it already said it was received, so it was already done. But there's a duplicate PDF. I guess it's a standard one they send out, but it actually detected that I'd sent it and also said that. So what happens after that? You send all this stuff in, you're trying to be in compliance. It's a waiting game, right? Most guys that have done this are saying that it's taken them about 45 days, and they're already getting, people are already getting their Amnesty registration SBRs approved and confirmed already. Go check out the Texas Gun Vault channel on YouTube. He just did one. He's got a couple of different episodes on it. Pretty darn cool. I don't think he did a e-service or anything. He just did the e-form. He didn't do like me, go through Silencer Shop, I don't believe. He's got a lot of NFA items, so he's pretty regular on the e-form stuff, so he went ahead and just, I think, did it all on his own. But he's an example. 45 days, he's got his back. So right now it seems like they're moving at a pretty decent pace. The closer it gets to the deadline, if this doesn't get kicked out by either a judge or a federal judge, or let's say if it winds up going to appeals or Supreme Court, the closer it gets to that May 31st deadline and more people want to go ahead and do this to be in compliance, I think you're going to get backlogged at some point. So you do it whenever you want. You can wait and see if it's going to be kicked out, and you don't even have to do it at all. Okay, you can wait if you want, and wait right up to that period if you want, and then submit everything. You're still going to be in compliance. But you'll wind up getting a form back that says you're approved. Like I say, you're not going to get a tax stamp back. You're not going to have a physical tax stamp. You're going to have a document that says that you're approved. That's what you're going to need to keep. You're not going to have to put any more engravings on your receiver. From everything I've read, is the ATF says the manufacturer, and for this Amnesty taxes and registration, what you have to have is just the manufacturer's information that's already existing on there, and that's all you have to do. So that's nice, because you're not going to have to go make sure that you have your name, your city, and all that engraved. Any other information that they require on the receiver itself is my full understanding on this. Research that on your own, make sure that I'm not screwing that up, but that's what I understand. So so you might ask, you know, okay, so you do this, Rodney, now it's been overturned. What happens then? Well, nobody knows. Nobody knows what happens at that point. We don't know if they're going to say, those of you that's already SBR these, you're good to go. Maybe they're going to say, hey, you got an option of keeping it as an SBR, or maybe there's something you can submit to the ATF and tell them to take you out of the NFA system, and that way it's not an NFA item anymore. Who knows? I don't know. The ATF hasn't published it. they're pretty convinced that this is going to stick, and to the point that they have not said what their game plan is if anything changes, because in their mind, nothing's changing. Everything's going to stay the same. You know, the only thing that's going to change is if they come back and say that ruling gets struck down and it's no longer valid. So in that case, I guess they'll make a decision then. They'll let us know. Again, that might be a reason that you want to hold off. That may be a reason why you want to wait and not do it right now and see what's going to happen. A lot of people are doing that. They're trying to see. You got a bunch of lawsuits going right now against ATF in the court system. You never know. Any day now, we might get a ruling on something. But I can guarantee you that ATF's not going to idly sit down and just go off of a district court's ruling. You know, the Fifth Circuit, I think, is probably might be the first one to rule, and if they do, you can almost bet the ATF's going to appeal it, and then you're going to have to wait for all that to go through. And depending on what the appeals court says, you don't know if there's going to be an injunction. They're going to revoke an injunction that might be in place. You don't know what's going to happen. You don't know what the injunction is going to cover. Is it going to cover all or part of the rule, you know, for the SBR? So it's just totally we're just going to have to play a waiting game at this point and see. Again, that might be a reason for you to wait. So we're going to have to sit back and we're at the mercy of the courts right now. And the ATF, they're not going to show us their cards. They're not going to let us know what they're going to do unless they have to do that. Because as of right now, we're going to follow the rules, is the way they look at it. And what happens if you don't comply? Well, let's say you do not comply, everything goes through, we don't get a ruling favorable for the people. What happens at that point? Well, you essentially a felon if you keep it in the configuration that it was in with the pistol brace and you did not register it. What's the penalty? $10,000 and 10 years in prison? Well, that's what they're saying. So is it worth it? You have to, you know, kick that around. Hey, you may say, hey, shall not be infringed. You're not going to infringe on my rights. Well, it's easy to say that, but when you got a family and everything else, can you really, really say that? Do you go and fill out a 4473 when you purchase a gun? Probably. Is that an infringement on your Second Amendment rights? Probably. But we do it anyway. Because if you want to buy a gun through FFL, you're going to have to. So you're complying at some point. It's just the way you look at things, I guess. You may ask, hey, is the ATF going to come confiscate my guns because I registered this gun? You know, I don't think so. I really don't think that they intend on doing that. Just look at how many people is registered short barrel rifles, suppressors, machine guns. Yes, people owns this stuff. There's people that has huge collections of NFA stuff that says they've never been frequented or visited at all by the ATF. So if you're not doing anything wrong, you're probably not going to be bothered by the ATF. The ATF should have bigger fish to fry than somebody that's, especially when you're registering, following the rules, registering the SBR. Some people are going to say, well, that puts you in a registry and they know that you got this gun. Let me tell you something. The ATF knows what you got, pretty much. If you don't think they know what you got, you know, I think you're sorely, sorely mistaken. And they have access to every record. Okay, let me step back. If you have bought a gun through a FFL dealer, I guarantee you, they know what you got. They know whether you got a long gun or handgun for sure. And they're able to inspect any FFL's records, and when that FFL goes out of business, they turn that over to the ATF. They know what you got. If they don't know what you got, they can find out what you got. So it's not that difficult for them to find out. Again, whether you want to comply or not, that's totally up to you. I'm not telling you to comply. I'm not telling you not to comply. That's not what this is about. This is to tell you about what I did, what I chose, the route I went, the reason why I chose like Silencer Shop to help me out with it. But there's a lot of questions. There's a lot of what ifs, and we don't know right now. We just don't know. I do know I went ahead and sent my registration in for this. E-form 1 is in. I will do update videos as I find out stuff. I'll let y'all know if anything changes, if I get any responses from the ATF. Hopefully everything will go smooth. If not, you guys will be the first to know. I'll let you know of any hiccups. Hopefully everything goes smooth. I'll let you know if there's any hiccups with the Silencer Shop, them helping me with this. So far, so good. Everything seems to have gone through properly. You just got to decide, is registration right for you? Are you planning just to remove the pistol brace and you're in compliance and you're done? That's pretty simple, right? Are you going to convert it to a regular rifle, throw on 16-inch or larger barrel? Hey, that's an option for you. Are you going to do nothing? That's an option for you. Are you going to do the E-form? And again, that's totally up to you. That's a choice that you're personally going to have to make. I'm not here to help you with that. I'm just here to share the information of what I done, what made it easier for me to go ahead and submit the form. I'm not telling you should do it that way. I'm just telling you what I done. And for somebody that's already looking at registering an NFA item as a, going ahead and registering for a short barrel rifle platform, actually for me, I believe it's working out and is better for me personally in my situation. And before you guys say, you shouldn't have done that. Now, like I said, I assure you the ATF already knows what you got. Look guys, I had an FFL. The ATF knows who I am for several years in Texas. I had the largest consulting business for FFLs and people getting their FFLs. Sold the entire kit to help people get their FFLs to become a licensed dealer. The ATF knows who I am. Even though I'm not in that business anymore, they know who I am. They have a record of me. And I can tell you from my experience with the ATF, has always been a very positive experience. I know there's bad apples in every agency, every law enforcement. I tell you what, there's bad apples just about in every business that there is. The ATF, they're not exempt from that. They have bad apples too. But I'll tell you what, a majority of the agents, a lot of them are pro-gun. They're there to do a job. They're there to actually fight crime, and they have a purpose. So don't think that everybody in the ATF's out to get you. I had very, 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 very positive experiences, not only with agents, with ATF inspectors when I had my FFL. Matter of fact, the whole time, that numerous many years I had an FFL, I had an ATF agent sit with me one time to come do an inspection, and he didn't crack my records. He glanced at my book and set it down and drank coffee and visited with me for a couple hours. One reason was because if I had a question about anything at all, I'd be on the phone, say, John, this was in Texas, hey John, I got a question for you. And he'd answer it. And he told me, he says, the people I worry about is with FFLs, you never hear from, you can't get a hold of them, they don't have any business hours. He says, but even though they don't have any business hours, they don't get back with you, those are the people I worry about. Not the people that, hey, you got a question on this form, or hey, this is happening, how do y'all recommend that I handle this? And if he didn't know, he would get back with me. He would call Atlanta, and he'd talk to them their field officer, or their industry operations there. Get me an answer, call me back, let me know. And, you know, that's how I handle things. I know people has had bad experience with the ATF. ATF's come knocked on people's door. ATF's has raided people. Understand that. But we're at a point now that everybody's going to have to make their decision. The decision I made and the reasons why I made my decision, I almost just converted this to a rifle and was done with it. And thought about doing that. But I was like, you know, I really plan on doing a SBR anyway. So why not do it with this? Since it's going to be out of compliance, we'll bring it in compliance as a SBR and kill two birds with one stone. So that's what I try to do. So guys, I know that some of you are cringing hearing me say what I did. And that's fine. You have every right to have the beliefs you have. That's part of being an American. That's part of living in a free society. And I'm glad we live where we live. And you can make the choices you want to make. I chose to do this way, one, because it's going to be bringing me into compliance with the ATF. It's going to get me an SBR. And I wanted to have an SBR. So that's going to go ahead and accommodate me in that area. The only people this is going to affect is the people that they don't want to be bothered. They want to keep their pistol brace in the same configuration. And look, guys, you're probably going to get your wish. Just look at the court system right now. They've been hammering away with the ATF. The ATF has got a lot of slaps in the face by the judicial system lately, saying that they can't do certain things, or they've ruled wrong on certain, they've made rules wrong, and that they can't do certain things. So, you know, just wait and we'll see how everything shakes out. And you may get your wish, you may get to keep everything like you want and not tell ATF about your AR that they probably already know that you already have. And if they don't, kudos to you. Personally, I don't think it's going to make a difference. We got so many Americans. The people that think that the ATF's going to come gun grab every single American's firearms, I don't think it'll ever happen in our lifetime. I just don't think so. There's too many Americans with guns, and there's too many people that believes in our Second Amendment rights. I don't think we'll ever let our government totally take our guns away. I personally just don't think it's going to happen. That's, again, my opinion. Your mileage may vary. Your opinion may vary. And that's fine. That's what's great about democracy. That's what's great about our country. You get to choose, and you get to do what's right for you. Let me know in the comments below. Are you going to go ahead and do an E-Form 1? If you are, I'd like to know your experience with it. Are you going to do another route? Are you not? If you're not going to do compliance at all, I actually don't want to hear about it. That's your business. I don't want to hear about it, and I'll leave it at that. If you're looking at information, you know, about the pistol brace laws and stuff, don't come here to me looking for that information, because it's not me. I'm not an attorney. Go check out Washington Gun Laws channel on YouTube. It's an attorney over in the state of Washington. He is up on everything to a and he does a lot of stuff on the West Coast, from, you know, Washington State, of course, because he's there, Oregon, California. He kind of keeps an eye on that side, but he does know what's going on across the country, and he does a lot of updates and stuff, especially on the pistol brace. And he actually has a law firm, and you can contact him and get legal advice. So if you want legal advice, go see somebody like that, or somebody in your area. Don't come here looking for legal advice. Like I say, you can also, if you want more information on other people that successfully got their E-Form submitted and back already, go check out like the Texas Gun Vault YouTube channel. Pretty cool over there. He's got a lot of great information. So guys, that's what I did. Hopefully it's helped some of you guys, especially like if y'all decide to use some place like silencershop.com to do your e-form. I think it's pretty cool. They have a service that they provide that they actually not only get your digital fingerprints done for you through one of their kiosks, they help you go ahead and get this paperwork started. They streamline it for you. They basically upload the entire thing for you. They review it before it goes and gets uploaded. And I think it just kind of helps. And at $50, you know, you could go do it for free yourself. Just go do the e-form, just go step by step, and you'd probably be fine and not have any issues. But it's worth it for me just for saving on the fingerprints. And when I do go ahead and do the silencer, I was already going to buy a silencer from them anyway. Now they got my paperwork, or they got my fingerprints on file for that. And it'll be very, very easy to do the gun trusts and stuff on that. I'll tell you, the only thing I don't like about this new law is I do have a gun trust. This is being registered individual. They made it real difficult because they want you to already have this in your trust before you register it. And I was not going to put it in the trust until I started this, and I was kind of waiting to see. And once they dropped everything and said, oh, we're doing this rule's in effect, and then it's too late, because it says if it's not in here by today, it's a done deal. It's not like I could go get everything notarized properly to put this, because it has to be, I have a form I got to fill out. I'm a trust to add weapons. So I'll eventually pay the $200 again and actually probably put it in my trust, because I want it in my trust. But as of right now, it's just going to be registered as an individual, which is fine. It goes ahead and starts a process. And since I'm not having to double pay that $200, I only have to pay it. I was already going to pay it anyway. I'm just going to have to pay it one time. Those of you that don't have a trust or don't care to have a trust, you're not going to have to pay the $200. You know, it's exempt. So that's pretty cool. If you don't want to register it, that comes down on you. Are you going to be a felon if this doesn't get overturned according to the rules? Yeah, you're going to be a felon. So you have to decide. You know, once you're a felon, and if you're convicted, you're not going to be able to own any guns. So look at it that way if you want to. You make up your mind. Again, this was not to change your mind, influence you. I don't have any preference whether you do or don't do it. I don't have any preference if you use Silencer Shop or not. You don't have to use them. I'm just telling you that's what I did to make it easier on me. I'm glad I did. So far, like I say again, if there's any issues or something comes back and says, hey, they screwed up, and you know, even though it said you submitted everything, it was wrong because they did something wrong, I'll let y'all know. I don't think they're going to have that issue because they do so much stuff, e-form. They've got their act together, I believe. So I feel like I'm going through a trusted company, and just to have them kind of take a look at everything before it's submitted, it gave me peace of mind, and the benefit of having the electronic fingerprints, and I don't have to go mess with those anymore, is awesome. So guys, your mileage may vary. Y'all let me know in the comments what y'all think, what y'all are going to do, y'all's opinion on everything. I really don't care your opinion on what I did, because I did what was best for me. Like it or not, I'm not going to have anybody change my mind on that. I did what I did for me. You've got to do what's good for you at the end of the day. So guys, if you're subscribed, thank you very much. If you're not, please consider subscribing. We try to have content all the time. We'll try to put some more 2A stuff out. Occasionally we try to stick to kind of some gunsmithing type stuff. We try to stick to shooting at the range, reviewing optics. I'm a official reviewer for Vector Optics. They got some awesome scopes. Go check out their stuff. And reviewing products that relate to they're either firearms, related to firearms, outdoor gear, stuff like that. And we even dive into air guns and stuff like that, like the PCPs and stuff like that. We did get a little bit of that because that's part of my hobby as well. So guys, certainly appreciate it if you subscribe. If you're not, guys, hit that notification bell. That way you know when we're putting out all our new content. And as always, guys, God bless. I hope everything goes great for y'all. If y'all do the registration, y'all let me know. If y'all don't, if y'all think it's the worst thing, which I don't think it's a good thing, hey, you can let me know in the comments. I'm not advocating that what the ATF has done is right. I do think it has infringed on our rights. Don't get me wrong there. But at the end of the day, you got to make up your mind. You got to do what you want to do. God bless you guys. I'll catch y'all on the next episode.